Greetings and salutations, drifters. Lars back with another one for you. Today I'll be reading all of the dialogue options for the new quest, Dark Heart of the Depths. Join me as I narrate and attempt to do several different voices. If you have any questions or comments, any requests for further lore videos, feel free to let me know. And I'd just like to let you know that there is massive spoilers ahead, the biggest I've ever encountered, lore-wise. It's really a trip. So let's get started. I hope you enjoy. As you approach, the merchant is lost in thought, contemplating something in one of his hands. You can't quite see what it is, but it's clearly enrapturing the man holding it. Seems like you found something interesting there. The man startles and blinks. Oh yes, sorry, I was distracted. What can I do for you? What's caught your attention so thoroughly? The man gives a sheepish grin. You'd not believe me if I told you. Even old Alamester thinks it's a fancy from one too many sips of wine around the campfire. Try me. Well, this here little trinket was given to me by one of the others. The man turns his palm towards you, showing a small object that seems to be woven of wood and metal that you've never seen. It's an intricate knot of winding lines held on the end of a single length of delicate chain. It gave it to you? I think so. Hard to say with their kind. Usually you try to approach them and they spook and vanish. But this one, it seemed to be waiting for me as I was wandering in Redshore Forest. As I drew near, it looked right at me, held this thing up by the chain, then did his little disappearing trick. I went to the spot where it had been, and this was lying there, as if it left it for me to find. Strangest darn thing I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of strange things. That's quite remarkable. Hey, and the talisman itself seems to. The man spins his hand opening and closing his mouth, looking for a word he cannot seem to find. Do something when you hold it. Here, just see for yourself. Drowan holds out the talisman to you. As the talisman touches your skin, you find that it's both warm and cold to the touch. A few moments tick by and you notice a tingling seeming to creep up your spine. You can hear someone whispering something from behind a corner, just out of sight, and your nostrils fill with a scent so familiar that you cannot fathom why you can't name it. The tingling in your spine becomes a current of energy, and you realize it's not emanating from within you, but from your Emberstone. Your vision blurs, and when it returns to focus, you are standing before a stone marked with an arcane symbol. You know you are in Redshore Forest. You know this place. Of course you do. You've been here many times. You reach out with the talisman towards the symbol on the stone. As you do, a stab of light causes you to reflexively snap your eyes shut. When you open them, you are once again in New Haven City before Drowan. What was that? Drifter. You tell me. You looked like you were in a trance for a moment there. Then you started glowing like an ember ring, and then you looked like someone had slapped you. Are you alright? I saw something, a vision, or maybe a memory. There's something in Redshore Forest that resonates with this talisman. Drowan draws in a sharp breath. Listen, Drifter, I think we're onto something special here, and you are the key. Take the talisman, go to Redshore Forest and find this place you saw or remembered, but be careful. We don't know what purpose the others might have in leaving this for us to find. Okay. Good luck, Drifter. I can't wait to hear what you find. This is all uncharted territory. You see a strange symbol on the rock. It appears not to have been carved so much as drawn into the stone, like an etching in wet clay. The vibration of the relic talisman grows sharper as you approach. Drawing forth the talisman, you can see that its shape is a mirror to the marking in the rock. You think you could press the talisman into the marking. It seems like it would fit perfectly. The talisman begins to resonate. The other fixes its gaze unwaveringly upon you as you approach. What is this place? The other does not speak to you, but simply stretches out his cloaked arm and with one bony finger points up towards the eye of Ibax and the top of the plateau. It never removes its gaze from you. You feel very uneasy in its presence and resolve to follow its instructions quickly. To your great surprise, the other stands motionless as you approach. It does not disappear, and the glowing light approximating its face tracks your movements steadily. You raise your hand in a gesture of greeting, but also in an attempt to seem non-threatening. After several breathless heartbeats, the creature slowly raises its hand in a reciprocal gesture. Hello, can you speak? The other stands unmoving for a moment, then gestures gently towards where the mouth would be on a human. It gestures back towards you, then places a hand on its head where a human would have ears. Why are you here? After a pause, the other bobs its head once. A hand reaches into the folds of cloth draping its body and emerges with a small glass bottle sealed with a colorful drab of red wax on top. A clear liquid swirls within, but when it catches light, it refracts a shimmering rainbow of color. The other stretches out the hand holding the small bottle towards you. You gently take the bottle from the outstretched hand. The other moves its hand to the middle of its face and draws its hand upwards towards where its nose might be, several times. You remove the wax seal from the top of the bottle. A small silver puff clouds to the top of the bottle for a moment, then dissipates. You give the bottle a tentative sniff. The smell is simultaneously completely new and utterly familiar. Your mind reels for a moment of lightness. The other bobs his head once, then with an exaggerated slow gesture, brings his hand, palm opened and facing upwards, from close to his chest and up to its face. You raise the bottle to your nose and inhale deeply, breathing in the heady scent. It fills your nostrils, then your throat, then your lungs. For a moment you feel lightheaded, then you are floating effortlessly down a long dark hallway. You are underground, in one of the old places. As you make your way purposely through the halls, here and there, the rough stone of the cavern gives way to fine masonry and carved pillars. You walk down a grand staircase towards the revered chamber. As you approach the revered chamber, you notice it's not as empty as it should be. Several of the smaller ones have gathered. They should not be here. You turn and flee silently back the way you came. Mists swirl before your eyes, and you are once more in the tunnels, making your way through the stone both natural and shaped. You feel a thrum in your bones, and you know that someone nearby is using the creation stone. But it does not sing with concordant melody, as when your people commune with it. It is a harsh screaming sound of energy being forcefully bent. As you approach the chamber of emanation, you see several small ones gathered around a flat platform. On it they have bound one of their own. They bend the energy of the creation stone towards the one on the platform, changing his skin from the pink of the dawn to the black of charred stone. The aura of the small one fades from vibrant colors to nothingness, but still the small one moves. Have the small ones used the creation stone to unmake? This is an abomination. This must be stopped. Slowly, the image fades into dark fog, leaving only residual memories of anger, sadness, and fear. As the fog begins to clear, you can see the other standing before you, its blazing eye fixed intently upon you. It cocks its head to the side, slightly, but the gaze lingers as your mind returns. What was that? The other's hand curls into a pointing finger, and it taps the side of its own head before slowly reaching out and tapping the side of yours with the faintest of touches. Was that your memory? The other's head bobs, but this time twice, and with vigor for a creature that seems to move so languidly. I will seek out the humans who are misusing Ember and stop them. At your words, the other bobs its head once more. As you step away from the other, you can feel its gaze upon you, and with it you feel an odd and unexplained sense of hope overcome you. The other watches your approach carefully and gestures in welcome, as if it has been expecting you. Who are you? The other reaches inside the folds of his garments and produces a vial similar to the ones above your head in this room. It opens the vial and offers it to you with a wafting gesture, inviting you to smell its aroma. Oh! As you smell the somewhat bitter aroma from the vial, your consciousness shifts. You suddenly seem taller, and you are in a room filled with more others. You seem to be experiencing this vision from the eyes of another, as if you were viewing its memories. There's a feeling of worry and consternation to this gathering. Something terrible has recently been discovered. You can hear speech and understand it, but it does not sound like any language you recognize, nor even words at all. The brethren are discussing a great and disturbing revelation. Memories are important and must be kept safe. Our memories link us to our humanity. If we forget, we lose ourselves completely. We must create memories and keep them safe. They are discussing who would be best to take up this crucial task. They come to a conclusion and nominate you. You recognize it will be a wearisome task, but accept the nomination to become the keeper of memories. The other draws the vial away from you telekinetically, simultaneously placing the covering back on and placing it back in its original location. What are you? The keeper summons a vial from across the room. As it gently floats towards the keeper, you recognize an almost imperceptible swell of ember energy in the room, and the other's light shines subtly brighter for a moment. The keeper opens the vial and offers it to you with a wafting motion. The aroma of the vial burns your nostrils briefly before your consciousness shifts. You see a blinding flash of light tinged with an ember hue. When your vision returns, you look at your hand as it grasps the creation stone. It no longer looks like your hand. As you turn your gaze to the others, you see a sight that horrifies you. Many who are near you are now gone, and those who remain all grasp creation stones. They are looking about in a similar manner. To your mind, the others you see are a grotesque husk of their former selves. The vision shifts. You walk beside the others and ponder the hundreds of years that have passed since the transformation of your people, or at least those who remain. And yet the light of creation has not faded in the faces of your companions. Their visages still shine brightly with an ember hue. It is as if the very world around you is constantly renewing the life force within you. It seems you are doomed to walk this path forever. No death is coming to release you. What is this place? The keeper gestures about him, pointing to the vials about it. The keeper selects one and presents it to you. Quite nice. The aroma you experience is hearty and determined. It reminds you of a safe place. Suddenly your consciousness shifts. You and many of your brethren toil with creation essence. You are creating a grotto for the Watcher so he can carry out his duty to observe the small ones with care. A safe and secret place that those who have broken away do not know about. You are creating a place for the Keeper to create vivid and lasting memories, that your brethren can come and watch to remember your humanity, and avoid the madness that awaits if you should lose them. You are creating and protecting Watcher's Grotto. The other fixes its gaze unwaveringly upon you as you approach. Who are the others? The other cocks its head sideways in confusion. Who are you and your folk? Where'd you come from? The other pulls a vial from its sleeve, larger than some of the others you've seen, opens it and offers it to you. Oh, that's a good one. The contents of this memory vial are sweet and pleasant. You see many scenes flash before you in quick succession. Scenes of a tribal people at first, a small collective. They are doing many things to survive, and their existence seems quite harsh at first. Then as the scenes continue, the people grow in number, and their tribal ways and garb slowly recede. They build towns and mines and learn alchemy. They mark the way of the stars and name the Eye of Ibax. They use creation stones to build fortresses and kingdoms. They travel great distances in a blink of an eye and communicate over vast spaces of empty land. We are who remain, the ones called the Vehreman, by the small ones. The other draws the vial back away from you, telekinetically simultaneously placing its covering back on and placing it back in its original location. What happened to the Vehreman? Another vial is offered from within the folds of its cloak. Oh, that's the stuff. The smell of the vial causes you to briefly feel pain and anguish. The ground shakes, the trees part, enormous beasts emerge from the north. You see them atop your position on the city wall. Panic fills you. The vision shifts. The Council of Magi meet in the courts of Abaxis. They discuss the use of creation energy to fight the beasts. The vision shifts. A gargantuan creature looms before you. You take up your creation stone and hold it aloft. A ray of light bursts forth, and the beast falls to its knees. You weep to use the power of creation to create death. The vision shifts. You stand atop a section of great wall that is stretched between two mountains. You are in the southern valley, and you face north with great apprehension. The ground shakes, and great winged creatures blot out the sun as they pass between it and you. Your brethren have failed to get the cartloads of creation stone behind the wall. Some of your brethren are still on the north side of the wall, trapped. It's too late. The great assault has begun. As winged creatures bring to bear their fearsome talons and beaks, and their great size upon the top of the wall, the Magi attacks with rays of creation energy. Many die on both sides. Gargantuan monsters strike at the wall below you as you cast rays of creation energy at them. It is hopeless. There are too many, and though the wall is thick, it will not hold. You grasp for a solution. You cast for a way to save your people. There below are many carts of creation stone. You take aim and regret it for the rest of your unending life. There is a blinding flash of ember-hued light. When you can see again, the blasts are no more. But alas, most of your people are gone as well, on both the north and south sides of the wall. Those who remain are only the Magi and warriors who carry creation stones. The rest have been erased. The other draws the vial away from you telekinetically, simultaneously placing the covering back on and placing it back in its original location. A sad tale indeed. Do you know anything about the runes on this land? The other offers another vial from within its cloak. A sweet and utterly pleasant aroma fills your nose and your lungs. Your vision shifts. As you walk through the valley, you are reflecting on the tenacity of we who remain. Despite the great sundering, the opening of the great chasm separating you from the Southlands and from the other tribes, and the utter decimation of most of your people, we who remain have adjusted well to these harsh circumstances. We have found creation stones, we have tapped into the very power of creation, and we have cooperated with the energy of creation to ease our survival. All about you are stone dwellings wrought by the hands of we who remain. There are mines, quarries, creation stones in abundance, and great undertakings in unlocking their secrets. Humanity is finally thriving in these Northlands. After years of struggle, culture is forming and the first great city is being built. A strong, safe place upon the shores to the north near the Andres Mountains. Pride swells in your heart to be counted among we who remain. You get back to work side by side with the others. I recognize that valley, but there was no great wall like the old wall we have now. The keeper makes a gesture, first pointing to the vial, then pointing before the vial. The memory was before the old wall was built? The keeper nods thrice solemnly. So you're saying these people are the Vehremen, and they built all these runes by hand? The keeper nods once, but holds up a finger, summoning another vial. High in the mountains, you see your brethren wielding creation stones to wondrous effect. Great stones are moved into place and fused together. Construction of Abaxis is going well. Ibax has done much to benefit we who will remain, and the city shall be named for him. And you and the Vehremen are one of the same? The keeper nods thrice in response. The other fixes his gaze unwaveringly upon you as you approach. Are you friend or foe? The other brings one hand to his breast and extends the other palm outwards towards you. It seems to you like a gesture of peace and friendship. You imitate the gesture and the other nods. It then holds out an open file towards you. Your nose tingles with a bitter scent, then your consciousness shifts. You stand before a group of small ones at a farm and make to the foremost one a gesture of peace as you slowly walk towards him. His face reflects panic. He shudders, grasps his left shoulder, and collapses. The other farmers begin to scream in rage. They begin casting their harvest towards you and your brethren. You signal all your brethren to depart. You feel shame at having failed to express friendship to the small ones. Perhaps they are more fragile than you recall being yourself. Perhaps watching from afar is best. Perhaps one day you will try again. Are there more of you? The other nods twice and holds up 3 fingers. After producing a file, it opens and offers it to you. You inhale deeply and your nostrils tingle with a new yet familiar smell. You sit beside your dear friend. He is losing his way and his memory of who he was. As he fades in and out of rational thought, you tell him stories of the past, of his humanity. This seems to ease his suffering. There are many lost ones. They no longer communicate with the brethren. They cannot. Those valiant warriors who once protected we who remain with creation stones and the sword have begun to slip slowly away from their humanity. They have completely forgotten where they came from and who they were, instead traveling back to their former post at Ibax, mindlessly defending it from any who draw near. Your heart is breaking as you sit beside your brother, who slowly slips into madness. You begin to remind him of another happy memory of his humanity, but he has forgotten. He is lost now. He rises and begins his slow, mindless march to Ibax. In the ruins of the first solid home near the water, Firig Valtinith, many have gathered. You can sense a great unrest amongst the brethren. One ambitious sister stands to articulate the position of many who have gathered. She tells of power in this new form. She tells of potential future, not just of we, but of all humanity. The small ones should be transformed. The sleeping ones, like Ibax the Great from before the Great Assault at the Great Wall, should be awoken and transformed for their knowledge and memories. You stand slowly to rebuke such a position. You claim this current form to be a result of misuse of creation energy, to be avoided at all costs, an undying curse wherein one must constantly call forth the memories of humanity and of the past to hold on to what shreds of humanity are left to us, lest we become mad like the lost ones. Perhaps even all creation energy needs to be gathered and sent back to whence it came, so small ones don't make the same mistake we did. Your sister expresses anger towards you. Her face glows bright and fierce. She calls for all who desire a new future with the new power they've gained in this new form to follow her. She claims they will create a new humanity, a new plane of evolution for the human race, blessed with eternal life and the power of creation at their fingertips. Many leave with her. They are the ones who have broken away from the brethren. Did you folk create the hollows? The other nods slowly but holds up a finger. The other produces a vial with a gesture of its hand, opens it and offers it to you. You feel a bitter stinging sensation hit your nostrils before your consciousness shifts. You stand near what you know to be Drifter's Landing. Though you are no longer you are the other in the vision. The small ones have once again begun crossing the great chasm. One such small one is in a fight for his life against a vicious white bear. It is a sad reality, but it has been decided that we will watch and guide if they begin using creation essence, but not interfere with nature's courses. As the small one is nearly expired, you see one of your former brothers appear. They have chosen to go a different way. Their kind seeks selfishly for a disturbing future, one that forsakes the small ones. He heals the small one and disappears with him. The vision begins to shift. You look out upon a mountain valley. You're near Ibax, your once great city from before the Great Assault and the transformation. You see your former brothers and sisters, the one who've broken away, hard at work. They have dozens of small ones in captivity. They appear to be making dwellings for them. In the distance you hear the tortured screams of what only can be the voices of the other small ones, for we have altogether lost our own voices. You stand with your brethren in the Hall of Memories, discussing what your former brothers and sisters are doing with the small ones. Many claim to have seen horrific experimentation executed upon them. Those who have broken away claim the small ones when they are about to die, and thereby claim a right to their lives. You express that this atrocity must be ended. Others agree. The small ones must be protected from the rash course of those who have broken away. The ones appointed to lead the watching of the small ones proposes that constructing beacons to summon and revive the dying small ones at central locations protected by us might keep those who have broken away from claiming their lives. It is agreed. The Watcher notes one problem. Those with too much creation essence within them may not be detected by these beacons. Those who live in and frequently visit south of the old wall, where creation energy is sparse, may remain within the parameters, but those dwelling beyond may be exposed to too much creation energy to be summoned. You suggest that despite this, some action must be taken, and it may be enough to dissuade those who have broken away from pursuing this line of action. It is agreed. We must do what we can to protect the small ones from the exploitation of those who have broken away. The other watches your approach with its unwavering gaze. As you draw near, its head tips slightly to one side. I cleanse the depths of the cabal. The other bobs its head towards you once, twice, thrice. It reaches into the folds of the cloth covering it, withdraws an object, then holds it out towards you. It glows faintly, and as you take it in your hands, you feel the power and energy emanating from it. An Emberstone. Thank you. The other places one hand upon its chest and raises the other hand, palm towards you. You place one hand to your chest and raise the other hand, palm towards the other. The other gives a tiny bob of its head, then returns to silent observation. As you step away, your heart feels suddenly lighter, as if you had been carrying a dark and terrible burden you were unaware of.
Ah, Baru, have you managed to find any new sources of Ember? I believe I could enhance your Emberstone if I'm given unique samples to study.
I've had the most remarkable encounter. I communicated with one of the others, and it gave me this Emberstone. Kime's eyes widen at your tale.
You've communicated with one of the others, and it gave you an Emberstone? That's phenomenal. Come on, let's see it.
Kime takes the proffered Emberstone from your hands eagerly and examines it. What do you make of it?
It's absolutely incredible, the way it has been shaped. Doesn't seem like any tools have been used. It looks almost sculpted. How did they manage such a thing? The potential in this stone is unlike anything I've ever seen.
Kime gives you a bold smile.
I'd be shocked if it couldn't. Give me some time to work with this.
Kime sets to work with your Emberstone, the one from the other. You notice her facial expression go from studious to shocked, to excited, and back again as she works. Is it done yet?
It is, and it was much easier than I expected. The stone you brought me from the other almost seemed to understand what I was doing, like it was helping me. I'm sure if you think it is not possible for stone, but still, I simply must study this new stone longer. The others must have a mastery over its manipulation for beyond anything we can ever even imagine. Thank you for bringing it here. Please, if you ever find another like it.
You'll be the first to know. See ya.